At 2 a.m., my brother yanked me out of bed and tossed me into the yard, shouting that I wasn't true. Okay, let me tell you something I learned the hard way at 23. There's a special kind of hell reserved for when your own family, the people who should love you most, turn their backs and watch as you're destroyed. But what if that betrayal wasn't the end, but the explosive beginning of your fight back? My name is Noah, and for most of my life, I truly believed that the people who were supposed to protect me were the ones who would always have my back. I grew up in what, from the outside, probably looked like a pretty normal suburban family. 2 parents, a younger brother, and me, the oldest. My dad worked long hours, my mom was always home, and my brother, Ethan, well, he was the golden child. Everyone in our family adored him. I was the quiet one, the one who kept my head in books or music instead of on the soccer field. That's how people like to label me anyway. But inside our house, things were drastically different. Ethan literally could do no wrong. Every tiny accomplishment he made was celebrated like he'd just discovered a cure for something. If he scored a goal in soccer, my parents would post about it online for days. If I aced an exam, I'd get, at best, a quick nod. If Ethan forgot to do his chores, oh, he's tired, or he's got a lot going on. If I forgot, I was lazy, ungrateful, irresponsible. At first, I just thought it was normal sibling stuff, you know? The usual differences in how parents treat kids. But as I got older, it became painfully clear. This wasn't rivalry. This was blatant favoritism. By high school, Ethan had perfected the art of being cruel when no one else was watching. He'd shove me into walls, mock me in front of his friends, call me things like the spare or the accident. If I tried to tell my parents, they'd just shake their heads and laugh. Boys will be boys, my dad would always say. Or, even worse, you probably provoked him. My mom would just sigh and tell me not to make waves. I learned pretty quickly that if something happened between me and Ethan, there was no point in looking for backup. I was completely on my own. That night, the night everything fundamentally shifted, started like any other. I'd been up late, finishing some freelance work on my laptop. It was probably around 2 in the morning when I suddenly felt hands roughly grab me. Before I could even fully wake up, I was yanked out of bed, my arm twisted. Ethan's voice hissed, "Get up, loser." I stumbled, half asleep, my heart already pounding. He dragged me toward the back door, his grip bruising. "What are you doing?" I croaked, my voice thick with sleep. "You don't belong here," he spat, shoving me forward. "You're not real family. Mom and Dad don't even want you here. You're just taking up space." Those words cut deeper than any physical pain he'd ever inflicted. He flung the door open and shoved me outside into the freezing cold yard. I tripped over the steps and hit the damp grass, the shock of it jolting me fully awake. I looked up in utter disbelief as Ethan loomed in the doorway, his silhouette framed by the warm kitchen light behind him. And then I saw them. My parents. Standing right there at the window, just watching. Not moving. Not saying a single word. Just watching as their younger son threw me out like trash. "Ethan, stop." I called, my voice cracking, hoping beyond hope that maybe they'd step in. Maybe they'd finally defend me. But my father just folded his arms. And my mother? She simply turned her face away. Ethan sneered, his voice dripping with triumph. "See? They don't care. They never did. You're nothing here, Noah. Nothing." He slammed the door shut, the lock clicking into place, a sound that echoed through my entire body. I sat there in the wet grass, shivering, staring up at the darkened window. The anger started in my chest like a small flicker, but it grew hotter and hotter with each breath. My whole life, I had been patient. I had swallowed their words, their blatant favoritism, their agonizing silence. But in that moment, as I crawled back toward the door, and then, the part that shocked everyone watchful story,